Welcome to a Tuesday night shiur, everyone. I'm very happy to see everyone. There are many interesting topics. Very, very interesting. But there is something that always triggered me, and I said, I really want to embrace this topic as much as I can. But before I start, I want to tell you a story. Not necessarily does the story have to do with the topic, but it's, I think, something that will make you look at your life a little bit different, in a different perspective, and take everything for granted. Rav Ovadia, we all heard of him, right? Without a doubt. Doesn't make a difference what religious level you are. Rav Ovadia, he got married very late. He didn't get married regularly. 21, 22. He got married like 26, 27, 28, somewhere around those lines. I don't know exactly. Now, he also never spoke to a woman in his life. So you can just imagine how a person that's a book smart, that's a genius, that all the Torah, us Sfaradim, all our fame and all our, who do we look up to? Rav Ovadia is such a person, such a genius. He had such a hard time finding a shidduch. When I heard the story, it gave me, I had goosebumps. So he was going out with this girl, and after 10 dates, they were about to get married. They wanted to, that's it, seal the deal, let's not waste time. She goes to Rav Ovadia and she says, listen, don't think now, since we're getting married, you're going to be some fanatic guy. Every week we're going to go to the movies. Every week we're having a night out. Don't think over here you're off the hook. Rav Ovadia was like, what? Sure, at any point I'm going out with you 10 times? I didn't know this? And he's thinking, and he tries to explain to her, listen, I'm a guy of the books. I could go out. I never was in a theater in my life. Telling me to go out? She's like, not only that, we're going to go misada, we're going to go to the restaurants, we're going to go out with friends. We're going to have a social life. Don't be fanatic with me, It's Anthony Paijot. And Rav Ovadia's like, listen, she thinks this is not going to work out. Forget about it. It's done deal. I cannot marry her. Not because he didn't like her. Because their views were not matching. There's the view of life didn't match. So he broke the shidduch. And what did she do? She took him to Din Torah. She took him to Jewish court.
He wasn't married.
No. How can you break an engagement? It's not so simple to break an engagement. Rabbi said you should know that. I know instances that people, the day of the wedding, they break it off. The day for stupidity. Not for, if it was something, wow, I understand. But just stupidity. His grandmother didn't say hi to this grandmother, and that's why we're not going to work out. But it's nonsense. It's mamash jetski sab. So Rav Ovadia, they went to Din Torah. They went to the Jewish court, and when they had the court case, the judge at the end said, Rav Ovadia, you're right. This is not going to work out. He wins. But, just to be on the safe side, pay her a certain amount of money. So she shouldn't all her life curse you. Give her some schum and call it a day. Now, I don't know if you know, Rav Ovadia right away got married, but what did he conclude? He said, every month, I'm going to save for her a couple of dollars, I'm going to give to her. Now, let me explain to you how much poverty he lived in. You know what he ate when he was married? One smitana and maybe a piece of bread. This was his food during his day. He lived like ani. He was a poor man. He was really poor. He was so poor to a level that when his wife already had 4 or 5 kids, she used to go, since there was no room in the house, she used to go under the table with the kids while he was giving a shiur to the public in his house. That's how poor he lived. But every single month, for a certain amount of time, I think it was a year or 2 years, he used to save this money to give to this woman. The Beit Din said I have to pay her, even though I don't have to, but they said I should, so I'm paying. She got married, you know, she thought she won. I'm making money off this guy. Now I'm now no friar. Especially, I don't know if you guys know Israeli women, and you were just in birthright. You saw the different teva, different mentality they had. Why? I love when I go to Israel. I like to go to the market of Ben Yehuda and just watch how people fighting there. It's for me such an enjoyment. Not because this is their mentality. They're just all the time just bargaining. Oh, you did this, you They want to fight each other, and I'm laughing there, enjoying. You know, this is Jewish people. It's beautiful for me. It's beautiful. Not the whole fighting, but the way their mentality. So Rav Ovadia finishes paying her off. Rav Ovadia became, you know, as we all know, he became the Gadol Ador, the Gadol Hadorim. He became the highest of many generations. From the time of the Tanaim, they never saw someone like him. Such a brilliant mind. Now, towards the end of his life, you know, he didn't want to see anyone. You know, Talmidei Chachamim, not even Talmidei Chachamim, people with knowledge, they always have people knocking on their door, you know? People always want to ask for advice, people that need their help. Now, Rav Ovadia, towards the end of his life, he said, listen, no more, leave me alone, I want to learn, I don't have time, I don't have patience, I don't want no one, I don't want to see no one, I don't want to, nothing. One day, the shamash comes in, his helper comes in, and goes to Rav Ovadia and says, Rav Ovadia, there's a lady over here. She really needs to talk to you. He said, leave me alone with these women. I have no time. I'm learning. He said, no, you don't understand. She said she dated you. She dated me? What's her name? He said her name. Bring her in right away. Right away, no questions. Bring her in. He sat her down, and she came, and this is what the real story begins. She says, Rabbeinu, when we broke the shidduch, I got married right away. I had a husband. We lived a happy life. But we had never had any mazal. No parnasa, no kids. They found out that I wasn't able to have kids. Hashem didn't give me the body part that I need to have a child. And she says, now I have nothing. Rav Ovadia calls one of his shamashim, one of his helpers, and says, listen, from now until this lady's 120, every Erev Shabbat, you go fill up her refrigerator with food, you pay her monthly rent, you make sure this lady is getting taken care of, from the beginning to the end. Before she left, she turned around, she said, Rabbeinu, I want to tell you something. If you would have married me, that would have been the end of your life. I would have destroyed you. I would have forced you to do everything that I wanted. And I knew, and I know now that you would never divorce me. And not only that, I would not be able to bring you kids, nor happiness. So we go through a certain life, through our life, and we don't understand why things happen. And it happens very, very cruel, very, very not understanding. But if you look at the big picture, and that you will see it at the end of your lives, you will see the big picture. And you'll say, you know, all the challenges I had, thank God I had it. Thank God. I wouldn't be the best person I can be without it. It's an unbelievable story. It's a musar haskel for the rest of our lives. Right away, something goes wrong, we blame. We right away make balagan. We want to go fight. He did this, she did this. Stop. Look at the big picture. Now I'm going to tell you what I want to say about this week's parasha. In this week's parasha, first of all, this week is really the last day of Moshe Rabbeinu, the second to last day of Moshe Rabbeinu. The whole Sefer Dvarim was written in how many days? Anyone know? One day. The whole book of Dvarim was written in one day. One. Parashat Matot Maseh happened right before the Jewish people went inside Eretz Yisrael. And the whole Sefer Dvarim happened on Shabbat even. Don't ask me how it was written. If it was on Shabbat, I'll tell you the answer after. The Gemara, the Tosfos brings down this answer. What happens? You see, we have to look at the tribes, the Shvatim, in a whole over here. The Jews are traveling from Egypt, and they're going into the land of Canaan, not Palestine, Canaan. It's two different identities. Before they go inside the land of Canaan, where do they stop? By the Jordanian land. Now, I don't know if any of you guys know anything about geography, but Jordan is a green land. It's the middle of the desert, but it's still very green. A lot of grass, a lot of trees. You know what I mean? It's a place that cattle, that animals would do very well. If you put an animal before Israel became Israel, they would eat nothing besides dirt and stone, because that was all that was there. But before, now you see all the beauty of it because the Jews came back. But before there was nothing. So there were two tribes. The tribe of... Does anyone know? Anyone know? Come on, I know you're thinking. I know you know it. Someone has to know it. Which two tribes, actually 2.5, but which two main tribes got up to Moshe and said, listen, Moshe, listen, do us a solid. Let us stay here. No, okay, so I'll tell you, we're making up tribes now. We're making new, so half of Menashe, yeah, but it was the Shevet of Reuven and the Shevet of Gad. Reuven and Gad, they were very, very strong army. Very. The Yalkut Ma'amah that they said that when Shevet Gad would fight in a war, he would diagonally kill people. You know what it means diagonally? From your shoulder until the end of your rib cage, you used to cut your bones with one blow with a sword. That's how strong they were. That's one strike. That's what it says. That's I want you to see. What did they say? Listen, Moshe Rabbeinu, leave me out of this balaga. We'll stay here. We have a lot of cattle. We're very, very wealthy with sheep and cows. We'll stay here, and you know, the rest of the Jews will go in. What did Moshe Rabbeinu say? Your brothers are going now into the land of Canaan. They're going to be fighting wars. And you want to just sit back and relax while your brothers are going to die? Is that really what you're thinking? Just imagine yourself. You have 2 kids, let's say. And you're not doing well. You're not doing well. And one kid of yours is okay. He's well-to-do. Another one is very wealthy. The wealthy kid said, listen to your other son. I tell you what, take care of dad. When he dies, you can keep all of his property, whatever it is. Listen, what's to mean to him? You know, I live my life. You take care of him. How are you going to feel? You're an old man. You're not going to go fight him. Well, you're an old man. You're on the bed. You find this, you hear this story. How are you going to feel? You already I would have goosebumps if I just told you that. You nothing to talk to. You would feel like God. No, he doesn't need you. Let me tell you something. That's it. But how would you feel?
I would feel like shit.
You would feel like garbage. No? You would feel like trash. Now, before I'm gonna continue telling you what happens, I want to tell you another story.
What is the story?
Telling you another story. There was this elderly man. He wrote a letter to his son. And this is the letter. Unfortunately, I didn't print it out. I should have printed it out. But I'm going to tell it to you outside. The father writes in his letter to his son. He says, listen, my dear son, I know you're a busy man. You're making money. You have a family. You have a wife. You have kids. And you know, you don't have time for my childish requests. You don't have time to really know what I need. When you call me on the phone, you always ask me, Manishma, how are you? But do you really care how I am? Do you really want to know how I'm really feeling? Father is telling this to his son. He said, when you were a child, from the day you were born until now, I always had time for you. I always told you, how are you? And I listened to your ridiculous stories. And I said your projects look beautiful even though they're ugly. And I listened to your girlfriend's issues and your wife's issues and your kids' issues. But did you know for the past 3 days, I wanted to eat an orange and I had no one to help me get an orange. But you don't have time for me. You don't really think my issues are real issues. I'm bed sick and I need someone to help me go use the bathroom. And his father is telling this all to his son. He wrote it in a letter. And I can't make a bracha because I'm all filthy and dirty. And I need someone just to listen to me, just to hear me out. He said, now this is what killed me in the story. I'm saying this, I'm tearing myself. He said, this life is like a book. The beginning of the pages are very interesting, and very knowledgeable, and very giving. But towards the end of the book, everything turns around. Because when you were a kid, I helped you change your diapers. And now that I'm old, you don't want to even look at me. Aboisai, our kids will tell us that. Every single one of our kids will tell us this. If we don't make the priority our house, our family, our kids will tell us one day that we're going to put you inside a nursing home. Our kids will tell us, don't nod. Don't ever nod. Because your kids will tell you, Pops, I'd rather pay a couple dollars but not need to deal with the headache. You understand? Can you be quiet? They will tell you that. Unless you don't make your priority in your life your child, not just to make him comfortable and buy him all the goods and make him, but see what he really needs. See what he really wants. Your friend should be your wife and your kids. I envy my father. My father, he wasn't a very social person outside. He had a lot of students. He knew how to talk to people. He was a great speaker. He still is. He's a very, very charismatic speaker. But one thing I'm really jealous of him. Family is family. Lo yamin velo smol. No, I don't have time for no friends, no going out, no shashlik bozi, no woman bozi. I don't have time. Why? I have to now build my family. He instilled it inside his kids. That what's important? Family. Not family, okay, you bring good shishki money and you give it to your wife and your wife looks like $1 billion and the next, when your friends are not there, wash the dishes, I give you everything, and when your friends are there, oh, na my sliding kaya, what kind of garbage is that? And then she's looking and she's like, oh, I wish I can record everything and show it to everybody. But you know what the problem is? It wouldn't make a difference because of all of his friends do the same things to their wives. So it's a whole bunch of, it's a club of jerk-offs. It's a group of selfish people. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu was telling the Shvatim. You're being careless about your brother. You care about what? Money. The grass is green over here. What about your brothers that are going to kill themselves for this land? What about them? Where's your sense of sensitivity? Do you not care for your brother? You want to know what's bad about a nursing home? Nothing's bad. Nothing. So what's bad? It's not your kids. It's not your kids. You give so much to this booger face. You give him everything. You feed him, you take him to the doctor, you don't sleep, you do everything. Don't tell me it's selfish of me for thinking like this. If it wasn't so selfish, you should have let him grow himself. When he was hungry at night, you'll find milk yourself. The kitchen is over there. Huh? Your mother got up for you. Yes.
What if some people just have a life they gotta do stuff they can't do with their parents all day?
You're right. You're right. 100% right. But there's in every situation there is its case. There is its case. You understand what I mean?
Everybody has a life.
No, you're right. Everyone has a life. But what is having a life really mean?
You got your own family to take care of.
But is your mother not your family? That's it.
Nah, I got other
Shh. No. A and B. This is an A and B convo. Your mother is your life.
Not really, no.
It is.
It's my mom. What else am I supposed to do for her? I gotta take care of my kids and my wife too.
Sure. And how will your kids learn how to take care of you one day?
I don't need them to take care of
Yes,
them.
you
I
will.
take care of their family.
Yes, you will.
I'll ask for favors, but I'm not gonna do
Tzaddik, you will. You're not saying that because you're not married yet. Remember something. I'm saying this both to the men and the women. Remember this. In your relation, not yours, in every relationship, there's going to be the ups and downs. It's normal. It's normal. There'll only be one person you will always be able to call and ask for advice. And that's your parents.
advice. Yeah.
Why do you call them for their advice?
They're my parents.
Why?
They just told me they're older.
So call your neighbor. Why are you calling your parents?
Why would I call my neighbor?
Why? They're older.
No, I don't trust them, I trust my parents.
Ah, you see that relationship?
That's trust.
You will never feel what I'm saying until you don't hold your own child.
That's love, bro. Okay, but it doesn't mean that I gotta go and parent my parents.
Why did they have to parent you then?
Because they brought me in this world. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Now you have to pay the favor.
Yeah, I'll give them money if they want to live a good life for me.
They don't want the money. That's why you're wrong. Your parent doesn't want your money. There's a story in the Gemara. I have to tell you the story. Can I tell you the story in the Gemara? The Gemara, I think Masechet Kiddushin brings down a person. Let's say I'm a very wealthy man and unfortunately my father is not. He's suffering financially. Right? What is the bigger chesed? What is the bigger kindness you can do for your father? Say, you know, Pops, I'll pay your bills all the time. Or hire him in your company. Or tell a friend, listen, I'll pay you every month a certain amount that's for you to give to my dad. He shouldn't feel like he's getting money as tzedakah. Which one's a better chesed? Shh. The Gemara says a person that just gets charity, even if it's from his own kids, feels disgusted. That's what you said. I'll help them with giving them money.
I said I'll help them by buying her a mate, help her clean and this or whatever she gotta do. Not me. Come on, no, but I think about it. Why do I have other things to think I gotta worry about. I got a life.
Will you visit her every day?
Maybe not every day, but at least once a week. Yeah, sure.
Will you visit her every day?
Nah. Why would I do that?
When you have
time, I will.
Promise to me one thing. Promise to me one thing. When you're gonna have a kid,
I'll call you.
not you'll call. Yeah, you'll call me and you'll tell me that you'll just reconsider what you're saying. I promise you that you will change your mind. You have to call me after 1 year that you have that kid. After 1 full year, the first year from when the child is 0 until 1, not only will you call me, Habibi, you will send me fax, telegram, email, text message. You'll say, Rabbi, I changed my mind. I don't know, I haven't been sleeping, eating, or even using the bathroom. Why? Because when you invest and give all your love to that little booger, the cutest booger in the world, right? You feel different. And I know we don't see it that way. Why? Because they're our parents. Because you right now.
Huh? You think my mom never got a babysitter?
She got a baby. Yeah, she did. You're right. But the answer is there's no conclusion. The conclusion is when you'll have your own kids. Okay? Because you know what? I thought the same thing. I did. I thought my parents were crazy for not having a social life. I said they're very unsocial people. Until I had my own family. And I said that is the most healthiest thing possible. The most healthiest thing. Because your friend don't give a about you. He don't care. He don't care. Because when he's making and having success and you ask him for a little help, he don't have time for you already. He only has time to eat with you and to show off to you. But to guide you, he don't have time for that. Take my word for that.
Sure.
You're sure of it?
Yeah, because I also would say
that's it. Because you experienced it.
Yeah.
When you experience having a child, you'll come back to this subject.
Rabbi, can I ask you a question?
Yeah. I think I hit a very sensitive topic for some people.
Yeah, I'm very unfortunate.
So something I said last week answered the question. Did you guys first of all hear his question? Say it again, because I want to understand it 100% before I address it.
Why would I have to invest so much time, energy into something that won't care half as much about me as I am towards it?
So this was this tzaddik's question. It's a very, 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 it's a good question. Why should I really care so much about this kid? Well, not even this kid, this wife, right? You said? Wife, kid, whatever it is. Why should I care for them if they won't care for me? Right? So I'm going to tell you an answer that you're also not going to understand until you get married and have kids. You going to listen? The Nitivot Shalom, or in English the book GPS for the Soul, he addresses your question. What's the question? How is it that a father can do anything for for his son, but a son can't do a fraction of what the father does? Is that like similar to the question?
Yeah.
So this is the answer. There's a saying my mother told me. One parent can raise 10 kids, but 10 kids can't take care of one parent. Listen, this is the answer. When you create something, anything, regardless, child, inanimate object, even be it a chair, even a mezuzah case, even your necklace that you're wearing, you created it, you made it, how do you feel towards that object? How do you feel towards that object? Did you ever create something? Like what?
I created jewelry.
Okay. No, something for yourself. Did you create?
Yeah.
Like?
I write notes for myself to express whatever.
Okay. Your notes, are they valuable for you? Do they feel the same value as you feel to them? Ah. Why do you have value to it then?
Value to whatever extent. I have a value to it.
The answer is very simple. Because you created it.
Invest the time in it.
You created it. That child you're going to create too! No? Who's going to create it? Some Joe Schmo. You're going to have a feeling towards it that you're not going to even know why you have it. And the answer is because you created it. You made that child. You made it. You have a feeling towards it that you're not going to understand. The Gemara says if a robber comes to your house, and he comes with a gun, and you know that robber is your father, you can't kill him.
Wow.
Because you know for sure that your father will not take the gun and shoot you.
Nah, I'll kill him.
Do you understand?
There's some cases like that.
I know there are, but I'm talking about normal family.
Normal father's gonna rob you in the long run.
Shh, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. in a normal family environment, a father wouldn't be able to kill his kid.
So why would you pull up your gun?
Pull up to the gun just to scare you. Because he knows he has a son like you, big, that's with one punch gonna knock him the heck out of here. I'll tell you a story. My sister, my eldest sister, she's Baruch Hashem very well-to-do. She sponsors a lot of times the shiurim without anonymously, and her husband. And one time she was sleeping on the couch. She has a big house, and a robber comes in. Now her house is very big. There is a right side to her house and a left side, not like ours, like one way. That's how big the house is. And the right side is the kitchen. The kitchen is bigger than this room. I'm telling you how big my sister's house is.
You've been in it?
Of course I've been in there. And she doesn't understand who in 3 o'clock in the morning is walking around in her house. Now my brother-in-law, he's in a liquor collector, you can say. He has any wine, any alcohol. He has alcohol that's years old, like rare. And this guy comes in. He goes to, I don't know what he thought. He goes and he's robbing liquor. He's taking some liquor. And my sister hears the liquor. And from frightness, she didn't yell, with a very, I don't know, kind of voice. She called her husband. Now her husband is not fat, but he's big. He's tall, a little taller than you, and I'm telling you, he's tall. He's big. He's a very big guy. He runs down and Karochi, he cracks this guy in half. Why am I telling you this story? That if this guy would have a gun, he would have thought twice. He would be more intimidated. Like, wow, wait, should be careful, right? Well, he didn't have anything. Actually, he came high, but that's beside the point. He robbed the house high. And he basically, whatever, just imagine from here where the story ended. The guy, whatever the case is, whatever, you know what I mean? I'm just telling you why someone would do that. And I want to tell you a story. You said a father can't rob the son. There was a story 3 years ago in Israel. By the Jewish people, you give envelope for the wedding, right? Yes. So, a box of envelopes, the whole box of envelopes from the groom side got lost. No one knows where it vanished. And a year later, they want to see the wedding, so both of the sides come. And what do they have red-handed in the camera? That the father of the groom took the money and said, yeah. So don't say there isn't, because I'll tell you cases worse than this, your jaw is going to drop. Why? Because money. Tavat mamon. So did you understand my answer? Unfortunately. And that's why you don't have that same love to your mother as your mother has to you. You like it or not, you don't have it. You'll kill for her, you'll die for her, but you won't live for her.
Oh, I got that.
The only thing she needs really from you is for you to live for her. Everything else is nivajna.
How can I live for her?
You live because of her. Might as well live for her.
Understand? Back to the parasha. And with this we're going to finish.
Finish with the pleasure?
Then I'm going to ask questions. So when Moshe Rabbeinu went to Shevet Gad and Reuven and said, listen, what is this you're leaving? Shevet Gad and Reuven, a very interesting word. It says in the Torah, it says Vayigash. Does anyone know biblical grammar of Hebrew? You know what it means, Vayigash? And he went and he confronted him with his body. Not ve'amar, and he said, Vayigash. The Shvatim, the elders of the tribes, they went to Moshe. And they said, listen, Moshe Rabbeinu, we're not negotiating. I'm telling you like man to man right now. We promise all the men that are eligible to fight in the army and are capable will not only fight in the war against the Canaanites, but will be on the front line. We will be the front line. We'll leave our wives, our cattle, our kids behind, but we'll be on the front line. Just give us this land. And Moshe Rabbeinu agreed. He said, no problem. Now let me ask you a question. Why? Why did they really care for that land? Think for 1 second. I gave you nice chidushim, nice stuff. You know, nice stuff is always good to hear. But let's use our brain a little bit. God gave us a brain. Why did they really want that land? Why would they want the land of Jordan? Why did the Shevet Gad and Reuven want that land? Why? For 40 years they were crying to go inside to the land of Israel. You know what else Moshe Rabbeinu said? You're gonna go nuts. He says like this. He said, your fathers did the same mistake. Who is he referring to? Who? The spies. The spies said the same thing. Let us stay over here. We don't need to go to Eretz Yisrael. That was before the 40 years started. Did you know that? The same mistake he said you're doing. Why? Why would you do the same mistake? Does anyone have an answer for me?
Yeah.
You girls can also answer. You should know something. There were prophets that were women too. We're not racists of women giving an opinion. Whatever, sexist you want to say. I don't know these terminologies. Sorry. I grew very conservative.
For the same reason they don't want to leave Mitzrayim? They want to live in the desert?
Give me an answer. I want to hear something juicy.
For the same reason why that father can take the money from the son. So you can't fight.
Okay.
For money.
For money.
For money.
Money.
So it makes the world go round.
Because of money. So you're basically saying they were selfish.
Yeah.
They were selfish. Simple.
That wasn't them who requested to fight in the front line. Was it? It was? Because that's how badly they wanted that line. They wanted to fight in the front line.
So this is your answer, and I like it.
Is it wrong?
It's not. You're not wrong, and it's not right. It's your answer. Your answer is because they had something called ta'avat mamon. What's ta'avat mamon? Pleasure of money. Who has the biggest bling bling on their neck? Who has the biggest dog collar? Who has the nicest dog collar on their neck? You understand? I have the nicest beard? I have a nice beard, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Are you comparing me to a dog now? Okay.
Compared to somebody with a chain.
With a chain?
Yeah, you can't see the chain if you put it on.
I would not need to wear the chain.
Yeah, you got the beard.
No, because the chain doesn't determine who I am.
Looks like I determine who you are, it just feels good.
People wear that chain because they want to feel like they're part of something cool.
I don't wear a chain.
So why do you wear it?
I made it.
You made it, that's why you wear it?
Yeah.
Did you ever make a ring?
Yeah.
Did you ever make, I don't know, an earring?
Yeah.
Why don't you wear the earring?
Because it's too painful to put a hole in my body.
Wait, are you even gonna allow?
I would have done a hearing when I was 13 plus. If I go to a job interview, these little minor details, micro details, my boss sees I have a piercing over here or it's a micro detail. Yeah, who could know?
Very,
Who looks
very
at your
evident.
earlobe when they talk to you?
You're gonna see, you're gonna come in looking like
Or
a
a tiny tattoo.
We're going to finish with this. I'm going to address you.
Oh, I have an answer.
Shh.
My answer's your answer.
Alright, what's your answer?
Okay. Ta'avat mamon, the pleasure of money, is a very, very hard desire. Extremely difficult. To an extent that people separate their lives and their families for money. Now I'm gonna address this more to the woman than to the men. I always take the men's side. Now it's my turn to. I always take the woman's side. Now it's my turn to get you back a little bit. I'm not doubting any of the girls that are here. They're all tzadkaniyot, but I'm still gonna address it anyways. One day you girls will be in proper age. Not that you guys are not. Some of you are. And you're gonna be going on shidduchim. Now you'll always meet that kid, that guy that is so self-centered, that is so selfish, that he purposely has to come with the most beautiful car, and he has to wear the nicest watch, and this is who I am, and purposely the way he talks is like, I'm sorry if I'm saying these words, but this is the words that you understand. I am, my family. We're so, we're so wealthy. We're so, Rather live poor, but live happy, than live rich and live miserable. Because money can't buy happiness. It cannot. If I'm saying something that's not true, raise your hand.
Money doesn't buy happiness. Give me your money.
I don't have any money. That's my proof.
I never heard a rich person saying that.
Ask their wives. And not only that, most people that are rich commit suicide than poor people. Statistically, people that win the lottery after a year, they commit suicide. No. People that have a buckload of money and they don't have priorities in their life, like most rich people, besides themselves, they're the most depressed, unhappy people. You know why I'm so happy? Because I'm broke out of my butt.
What makes you happy?
Yes, it is.
You know why you're happy? Because you're rich out of your
Rav Moshe told me something that I'll never
You know why
forget.
you're rich?
Shh. Rav Moshe told me something that I'm never going to forget in my life.
Quiet, yo.
Never. I will never forget this statement. And when he told me this, I didn't really fully understand. Now I already understand. And he asked me, he's like, how is Parnas? I said, Parnas, Baruch Hashem, I only had one kid at the time, or two kids, we're working, surviving, we're living. And I think he was also, he was fine at that time. And I said, no. He comes to me and says, you know what I miss? I miss being broke. What? He said, I miss seeing the miracle, the day-to-day miracle, how I'm paying my bills. I miss to see that today I got a certain amount. That was exactly the amount I needed to pay this person. Rich people don't see Yad Hashem day to day. They don't see it. They think they earned it. They made it. They don't see it. I don't care who you are, what you are. They don't see it. You know who sees it? A poor man that's sitting with a kuppah, that's happy that you gave him a sandwich. He says, thank you for your sandwich. I'm not telling you, God forbid, to live that way. Chas v'shalom. Be rich. Be richer than Korach. But don't ever forget that it wasn't you that made you rich.
What's your job?
Do you understand? It wasn't even your job. You understand? B&H, you know how he became rich? You know he didn't know how to sign his name?
B&H.
The owner of the biggest electronic company in the world? You know, electronics. Electronic. You know that his website is closed on Shabbat?
What?
On Shabbat, you know what it says? We observe Saturday, please come back tomorrow. You know, he didn't know how to sign his name on a check. How did he become so wealthy? Hashem said, it's your mazal to be wealthy, I'm making you wealthy. Wealth doesn't come from hustling and working. It doesn't. It doesn't.
So it comes from miracles?
No. It comes from pure faith in Hashem.
So my faith is working.
If you put your faith in work, know that that's not going to make you rich. It won't make you rich, my friend. Work won't make you, because you know why? 99% of the world, which is not rich, they work and they hustle day after day and they're not rich. Ah, so what are you working for? Not to spend your money? So what the heck's the point of working? You have to pay rent?
Yeah.
You have to pay for a car?
Yeah.
You have to pay for insurance?
Yeah.
You have to get married?
Yeah.
You have to pay for your wife?
Yeah.
You have to pay for your kids?
Yeah.
Do you have to pay all the bills that you have?
What do you mean?
You know how much that...
Everybody's poor or not.
You're right.
Yeah, come on, how much could it be?
What? What? I do this every year with my class. I take out a whiteboard and I make how much your livelihood expense will be a year. Forget about your wedding expense. I make an expense of your day-to-day life. Their jaws drop like Twin Towers. Why? Because they think they have it easy. Hit me.
Think about it, Rabbi. A poor person also has kids, also has a wife, a car, insurance, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
You're right.
Maybe he doesn't have as nice as a rich guy.
You're right.
But he got something.
You're right. But what I'm telling you the difference is, I'm not telling you to be poor, God forbid. I don't want you to be poor.
Grateful for what you have.
Be happy and know that whatever you make doesn't come from you. First of all, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask you all of you. You guys think it comes from you, right? You think it comes from you, right?
Yeah.
What is you? What is a human being?
I got legs, I got hands, I got a face.
You are legs? Do you identify yourself as the leg?
No, I identify myself as a human being. I'm telling you what I got.
If someone is going to ask me, how do you identify yourself? What are you going to tell them?
Mikey.
What is Mikey?
What is that even supposed to mean, Rabbi? I'm a human being.
I asked you a simple question. What is Mikey?
Person.
His name.
A person? So why isn't he Mikey?
He's an area.
Why is he Neri and you're Mikey?
Because his parents named him Neri. My parents named him Mikey.
No, but if you say that you're human, you should all be named human.
Nah, why is that? That doesn't make sense if you think about it.
Because you're not human.
Yes, I am.
And you know what Mikey is?
Yeah, what is it?
You're a soul. You're a soul, Habibi. You are a piece of God. That's what you're not remembering. You got so disconnected from who you really are. You have to need a reminder that really Mikey, this Mikey, is really a piece of God. So when I tell you that you have to understand everything you get and your earning is not from your labor, but it's from really God, I'm telling you that you're really receiving it in essence really from yourself.
Rabbi, if I sit down and go do nothing, ain't nothing's gonna come.
You're right, and you're not supposed to do nothing. But I ask you, who are you?
My soul is
So some girls can say, my name is Yafa. I don't know if there's any Yafas here. I've just said the name. Is there a Yafa here? My name is Yafa. What is Yafa?
Bro, that's my name. Come on.
What is that?
It's a name, means beautiful. What do you want to know about it?
Yafa is not... Yafa is... She's Yafa because she has something inside of her.
I think there's a lot more than one Yafas in the world.
You're right, and that's what makes them all different. You just answered my question. You just proved my point.
But you're not a human being. You gotta search. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. Not a human being having a spiritual experience.
Spiritual soul.
You're not human. You're not human. You're not a human.
I don't think you understand how stupid you sound.
I don't understand what you're
You
saying.
have to understand, your soul is a battery to this Mikey physicality, bro. That's it. It's
What does that have to do with anything?
What are you trying to explain? What are you trying to explain to you? You're just sitting there. I'm like,
Because I don't understand what the fuck I'm supposed to do.
This is why you're going to hell, Habibi. This is why you're going straight to Gehenna. Straight. Why? I say it all the time. You know, someone one time commented in one of these videos, who is this Yoshua that you always say? This is why. You know everything you know, and you still don't want to do.
This is not the only reason I'm going.
No, this is the only reason. Everything you did doesn't exist. Whatever you did, the mistakes you did, everything you did doesn't exist. They're no more in the face of earth. It's what you are this second. The second just passed. Forget about it. This second. This second. Do you understand? Stop dwelling your life on the past. You're not going to change it. You're not supposed to change it. And you're not going to change it. Change right now. Right now. This second. Do you understand? That's the difference.
I understand, but I don't want to.
You admitted it. Look at that. Look at that. Hope. You know what hope really means? Knowing the truth. If it was worth it for me to come down in this world, to go through hell just for you to say those words, it was worth it. You don't want to change. But you know what's right? But you come to me and cry, what about my sister? How about if she also doesn't want to change? Why does she have to change and not you?
She's a girl.
Your brother.
He didn't have me, that's why. I didn't have me, my brother had me.
You have me. You have me.
You have your own life.
No. Again, I'm going to say it. My life is you. Do you not understand this? Do I have to repeat the same thing every lecture? Do I have to tattoo it on my forehead? Last Shabbos, I wasn't planning on having guests. Somebody called me and said, Rabbi, I'm coming to your house. And he came. How come you can't do that? Huh? I have my own life. What does that mean? Are we born to be selfish? Exactly what this week's parasha, Shevet Gad and Shevet Reuven. Moshe Rabbeinu said, why are you selfish? Why are you selfish? I'm not selfish. You know my number. You know exactly what.
I'm not in contact with my own family. You take it offensively.
I'm your family.
I know you're my
That's it. That's it. I'm your fam. That's the only number you will ever need is this number. That's it. You're looking at your past. You're blaming your present on your past. You can't do that. You can't. You want your kids to go through the same thing that you did, but you're leading your life to that. Do you not understand that? You want your kids to go through the same hell? You know how bad it is. You know that you had no choice. You were born into what it is. Now you have a choice. You have a choice now. If you're not going to change it now, you'll never change it.
Why can't I change later? Why can't, like, in a few years from now, do everything I want to do, and then in a year or two, I'm going to be...
You could. You could. You could. But let me tell you something. It's better to do it now. You could do it later. But it's better to do it now. Because if now you're saying later, you're going to say later. Because later, you know what later really means? Never. Later means I don't really care. How much more shtuyot do you want to do? I want to go there and smack you across your face right now. How much more, how much regret you're going to want to live with for the rest of your life? As is, you live with certain regrets. You want to live with more? Do you not have rahmanut on yourself? Do you not care for yourself?
To an extent, I don't care about certain things, but it doesn't mean I don't care about myself.
So you care about yourself. So stop saying tomorrow and start saying today. Today. Today is the change. Right now is the change. Not tomorrow. Who said you're going to live until tomorrow? No one said so. Statistics? I'm going to show you statistics how many young kids die every day. Who said you're going to live another second? If you're not going to do the change now, you'll never do it. Stop dwelling on your past. Stop it. If I dwelled on my past, I would be nothing. Not that I'm something. Stop it. Everyone did mistakes. Everyone has regrets. But you're going to live it with like this for the rest of your life. And then what? And then what? You're going to do it again and again. You're going to dig your hole deeper and deeper. Enough. You want me to go on the floor and cry and beg to you? I'll do it. You know I'll do it. You know I have no problem doing it. So what do you, tell me what you need. Tell me what do you need, I'll do it for you. Tell me what you need, I'm going to do it right now.
I need this desire to go away.
The desire never goes away. Never! Never! It will never go away. Never! Because if you don't have the desire, you would never get married. You would never want to have a drive to have a family. You need the desire. You need it. You're going to be 100 years old, you're still going to have the desire.
This doesn't interest me. What you're talking about, I'm sorry, it doesn't interest me.
You're right.
A wife, all this, it doesn't make sense to me. Someone to grow old with?
No. Forget the wife and kids. Forget the wife and kids.
Then what? I
Forget.
don't understand. What am I doing so wrong that's insane?
Do you feel accomplished?
Not at all.
So what the hell the point of living? You answered your own question. You don't feel accomplished. Why do you live? Why should I live if my every single day of my life is so stupid, boring, reckless, and I don't feel a sense of accomplishment?
So I will feel accomplished one day. In order so one day I will feel
How are you going to achieve that if you're doing the same thing over and over?
I'm not doing the same thing.
You are doing the same thing. You just got it yourself. You are doing the same thing. Do you understand? Don't get married. Don't have kids.
You see, it's different though. Right now, I have the desire to change. I'm gonna walk out through this door. Tomorrow, I'm gonna wake up in the morning, and I'm not gonna feel the same desire.
Because you have to take action. You know why people go to work? People don't like to go to work. Because they know in the next month they're going to have a bill waiting for them. It's called rent. It's either pay rent or sleep outside. God made you a chesed. What's that chesed? He didn't kick you or hurt you if you don't follow Torah mitzvot. He gave you something called bechira, choice. Do you want God to hurt you every time you do something wrong? No, right? You have to drive yourself. The rabbis are here just to guide you and help you and be your support. How do you want to work? Because you need the money. You need to pay that car. You need to do this. You need to do that. You don't want to work. You would love to sit down, take a nice joint and show. I'm kaifuyu. So why don't you do that? Because you can't. You just can't anymore. No sense of accomplishment.
But I don't. Even if I accomplish something,
you're not accomplishing. Because when you accomplish something for someone else, you're not accomplishing.
Not that. Like, the only time I feel happy is when I pray. When I'm sitting down and I'm praying.
You want me to take a bat and hit you right now? You just said the answer yourself.
The moment I take it off, it's like I'm back to my old self. So it's the moment that I disconnected from it, it's like I'm fully
So if you feel accomplishment anytime you do something with tefillah, let's say, or tefillin, or kashrut, or whatever the case is, right? And you said, you know what, I'll actually delve in this topic a little later. Does that make you smart or stupid? There's your answer. Of course, you're not going to want to have a kids and a wife. Because unfortunately, whatever you saw as you growing up was all balagan. You wish the same thing on your kids? So you saw something bad. You don't need to see someone killing someone. You don't need to see that.